Right now at noon, what the city of Madison is doing financially to open up a new homeless shelter. And we met the new general manager of Madison Metro, how she plans to rebuild trust within the agency. News 3 Now at noon is right now. Hi, thanks for watching. I'm Tanasia Shaw. Josh will be back on Monday. We begin with continuing coverage on Madison's housing crisis. The city now looking for private sector help to pay for a new homeless shelter. The Madison mayor has also budgeted $1 million in taxpayer money. Right now, Shelter Friends of Dane County Incorporated is working to raise about $1 million for the county's new men's homeless shelter. Mayor Rhodes Conway says the city is expected to spend even more money on that project.
And I am proud to announce that the City of Madison will match the first $2 million in contributions to the Shelter Friends of Dane County Endowment Fund.
The mayor says that fund will primarily be used as a savings account meant to provide sustainable funding for shelter operations. The city is getting the money from federal ARPA funds, which needs to be spent by the end of 2026. By then, the shelter should be up and running. Now to the state capitol, as lawmakers from both parties criticize Superintendent of Public Instruction Jill Underly for skipping a hearing on sexual misconduct in schools. A Wisconsin newspaper reported that the DPI concealed 200 sexual misconduct cases by allowing staff to voluntarily surrender their education license. Underly responded with a video statement saying that voluntarily giving up a license isn't a loophole. DPI officials say the real issue lies within the wording of a state statute.
Be incredibly helpful for us if we had some sort of statutory definition or terms for grooming to work from.
Quite remarkable that the immoral conduct law has been in place for so long and has been applicable for so long without any concerns raised about its interpretation until an investigative report is published in the Cap Times.
Lawmakers across parties, law enforcement, and DPI all agree on one thing. They must find effective ways to prevent sexual misconduct in schools. Madison Metro Transit is under new leadership. Jamie Acton took over as Metro's general manager this month. She steps in after bus drivers spent 9 months working under an expired contract. Plus, a series of attacks on Metro drivers raised concerns about safety and security. Our Maddie Heim sat down with Acton to discuss how she plans to rebuild trust within the agency.
Really looking at the safety and security measures within the system. What are our policies? What are our practices? How do we support operators? But also, how do we make sure that all Metro Transit staff, if they're out on a system, if somebody's out on a road call and something happens, how do we mitigate any risk to them? How do we make sure that
Acton also addressed how Metro is budgeting to maintain the red lanes around town and the phase in the north-south BRT route. This full story can be found on channel3000.com right now. Now to a check of your first warn forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze, we could expect a few sprinkles tomorrow, possibly?
That's right. We are looking at an isolated shower chance on Saturday. Until then, we are going to sit underneath quiet conditions for Friday. And in the work week, less breezy. Started out this morning, some of us in the upper teens. Now we're in the upper 40s in the Madison area on our Edgewater sky cam. The winds are calm, and that's going to remain the way the winds will be not only tonight, but into Saturday as well, certainly on the lighter side. We're finally all in the 40s, a little bit cooler to go into the noon hour there along the Mississippi River Valley, but most of us are nearing 50 at this hour. With the sunshine and the light winds, we're possibly going to get into those low 50s today. We're there in Cross Plains, Middleton, Verona, as well as in Sauk City, Wanakee. We're at 50 as well. We're looking at the mid-50s on Saturday. Again, an isolated shower will be possible, but those winds will be light and out of the south. A bit breezier on Sunday. We're flirting with the 60s. How long those warmer temperatures stick around for, and of course, the latest look at what to expect for Halloween in the full forecast.
All right, Blaze, thank you. We'll check back in a few minutes. Now, the newest person to run for the lieutenant governor position is now speaking with News 3 Now for the first time since he's lost his campaign. Earlier this week, Will Martin, a conservative businessman, announced his bid. He previously worked under former Republican governors Tommy Thompson and Scott Walker. During an interview on For the Record, we asked Thompson what sets him apart from other candidates.
Knowing where the overlap is, knowing the redundancies in state government, knowing how to help the next governor cut this budget, we're going to have a structural deficit 2 years from now when this biennial budget is over. Having somebody on that ticket who understands where we can cut and make sure that we're using a scalpel, not a mallet in this process.
Martin joins two other Republicans in the primary, former Lancaster Mayor David Varnum and Waukesha County Technical College student Cyril Sablich. Current Secretary of State Sarah Godlewski is the only Democrat in the running right now. You can see more of Ellie Liberte's interview with Martin on this Sunday's For the Record at 10:30.
They're actually on television taking ads.
Days after calling out Canada over a new ad about tariffs, President Trump upped the ante Friday morning, posting, "Canada cheated and got caught."
The way to prosperity for all nations is rejecting protectionist legislation and promoting fair and free competition. America's jobs and growth are at stake.
In response to the ad paid for by the province of Ontario, President Trump announced late Thursday that all trade negotiations with Canada are terminated.
I think the frustration has built up over time. I've been involved in some of these negotiations, and the Canadians have been very difficult to negotiate with.
Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, who earlier this week announced a goal of doubling non-U.S. exports citing American tariffs, responded Friday.
We can't control the trade policy of the United States. We recognize that policy has fundamentally changed.
But he kept the door open to negotiations on specific sectors, including steel, aluminum, and energy.
We stand ready to pick up on that progress and build on that progress when the Americans are ready to have those discussions.
Both leaders are heading to Asia for key economic summits, where President Trump is also planning on meeting with Chinese President Xi amid ongoing trade tensions between the world's two largest economies.
We have some big issues, like with the farmers and various other things.
President Trump threatened an additional 100% tariff on goods from China in response to Chinese export controls on rare earth minerals, setting a deadline of November 1st. Natalie Brennan, CBS News, the White House.
Natalie, thank you. In response to the backlash, Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario, tweeted this morning that Canada and the U.S. are friends, neighbors, and allies. Former President Ronald Reagan knew that we are stronger together. And today marks the first time federal workers won't be getting a full paycheck because of the government shutdown. Since the stalemate started on October 1st, close to 1.5 million civilian federal workers were either furloughed or forced to work without pay. Hundreds of these employees were seen lining up at a food bank event this week in Washington, D.C. Yesterday, state Democrats blocked a Republican bill that would pay people who are considered essential workers. Democrats want the bill to cover furloughed workers too. However, lawmakers on both sides feel like a bipartisan agreement could be reached soon. And Social Security benefits are going up slightly next year. In 2026, Social Security recipients will get 2.8% more per month. Despite the increase, a lot of seniors say that the yearly adjustments haven't kept up with the rising costs. Next year's increase is higher than the 2.5% cost of living adjustment beneficiaries got this year. The annual adjustment is based on inflation, which has eased after hitting roughly 4-decade-year high in 2022. And coming up next on News 3 Now at noon, Tesla issues a recall for thousands of Cybertrucks here in the U.S. Plus, why Target says it's eliminating hundreds of corporate positions from the workforce.
Target says it's eliminating about 1,800 corporate positions, including about 800 open roles. With a new CEO set to take the reins in February, the moves are part of the retailer's efforts to streamline decision-making and strengthen its customer base. The cuts represent less than 10% of Target's corporate workforce. Tesla is recalling more than 63,000 Cybertrucks in the U.S. because the front lights are too bright. The concern is that may cause a distraction to other drivers and increase the risk of a collision. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said the recall includes certain Cybertrucks with model years between 2024 and 2026. The federal agency said Tesla is not aware of any related crashes, injuries, or fatalities. And 3M is recalling more than 10,000 thermal laminators due to a potential potential overheating issue that poses a burn hazard. The recall focuses on the Scotch brand TL90950 thermal laminator. The company is offering a refund. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com.
Here is a look at the current stock numbers at the noon hour. The Dow Jones is up 514 points and the NASDAQ is up 297 points. And the S&P 500 is up 61. Our call for action volunteers are in the building right now, taking consumer complaints and taking action on your behalf. You can call for action at 608-270-2833 or submit a claim at any time at thechannel3000.com/call-for-action. Pam has today's farm numbers up next, and Blaze is tracking the first warned forecast. Then later on at Live at 4, we'll preview some of the upcoming trick-or-treat activities happening this week. Welcome back. Let's check in now with Pam Yankee for our Midwest Farm Report. Pam, how are you?
I'm good, Tanasia. Thanks for asking. A beautiful Friday, and I've got a kind of a cool story to keep the good news coming. You know, there's not a lot of things that necessarily came out of the pandemic of a positive note, but boy, there sure is a good idea down at UW-Platteville that started during the pandemic. Two professors there, Dr. Joseph Wu, who's an associate professor of chemistry, along with Dr. John Obeiladun, who is in charge, the chair of the science or mechanical and industrial engineering part of Platteville, got together. They saw farmers dumping milk during the pandemic because processing couldn't keep up with people not showing up for work. And Dr. Wu said at that time, he started texting Dr. Obeiladun and said, you know, we should be able to do something with this. So basically what they did is take the dairy proteins and turn it into a product that can be used in 3D printing. Dr. Wu explains a little bit more.
One category that strikes me is to help the farmer to improve the economy of the dairy farmers. And that just perfectly matches what we are looking for. We really want to make this project work so that in the future, we do not need to dump milk to the field anymore. We might be able to recover, recycle, reuse those material for good purpose.
So basically those two have come together and gotten a patent now on this process that takes basically the casein and whey from cast out milk and turns it into a 3D printing film. Dr. John Obeiladun told me that that is a $20 billion industry right now, with dairy sustainability story taking really nothing and turning it into something. He hopes that somebody will take advantage of that patent and start turning our milk into something a little bit different through 3D printing. Now, this is going to be a big conversation topic during the upcoming Dairy Innovation Hub's annual summit. That's Tuesday, November 18th rather. It's going to be up at the UW River Falls campus if you want to physically attend, but it's also going to be available virtually. Like I said, it's free. All you need to do is register. Dr. Wu and Dr. Obeiladun are going to be featured with their patent press on this 3D opportunity and more of the Dairy Innovation Hub investments that are hopefully going to send dairy into the next generation of product use. Pretty cool, though, that that's coming from UW-Platteville. It's also spun into some good news. Students that worked with Dr. Wu in the chemistry area said that it gave them new meaning into being a chemist and how they can have real-world impact through their work. So pretty cool all the way around. Dairy is looking pretty good. That's one of the higher areas on the board today. Fluid milk contracts have surged double digits higher on the midday for November, December, January Class 3 milk that goes into cheese. Barrel cheese up a penny and a half today at $1.77. 40-pound block cheese up 5 1/4 at $1.77 3/4. The AA butter up 4 to finish the week at $1.60 1/4 per pound. So there we go. Kind of a unique dairy story, but like I said, Dairy Innovation Hub all about investing in new ideas, new opportunities that will take what you and I know as a glass of milk and turn it into something we never fathomed milk could be. So there you go, Tanasia. Just a little something to think about this weekend.
All right, Pam, thank you. That's so cool and innovative. Thank you. All right, and the time has finally come. Today, we will be handing out coats for kids. Distribution day is today from 4 to 6 p.m. Volunteers will give out nearly 5,000 coats to local families in need this winter. Distribution will take place at the following centers: the McKenzie Family Club in Sun Prairie, the Erica and Anthony Fleming Club in Madison, and the Allied Family Center in Fitchburg. You can find more details right now on channel3000.com. And now we are turning to weather with meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze, this is the perfect day to get ready for the winter because it is cold.
It was definitely a cold start this morning. 19 degrees was the official low in Black River Falls, 23 in the Dells, 26 in Madison, a nice 32 in Monroe. I think that sensor, based on all the other temperatures around, might be broken. So many of us got into the low to mid 20s last night. We are getting into the heart of fall, which means some of these mornings are certainly going to be chilly, much like waking up tomorrow morning. Not as cold as waking up this morning, but we'll be chilly once again tonight. And as we head into the weekend, we're looking at mostly dry conditions. A shower or two on Saturday can't be ruled out. But then next week, we're back into those 50s, more fall-like. So again, if you need a coat, you can always head on to our distribution event this afternoon. Grab one because it is starting to get to that point in the year where sometimes even our daytime temperatures aren't very warm. Future track, let's find out when those showers are set to arrive on Saturday. Mainly in the morning hours and definitely further out west. Future track, based on temperatures and the timing of these showers, we may be seeing a few snowflakes in the raindrops there, marked by the purple. But as we go into the afternoon, we will dry out. I'll say we could hold on to a shower chance into the afternoon. You can always take the First Warn Weather app with you and just take a look at our interactive radar before heading out. But the chance for rain over on Saturday isn't looking too impressive. We're still underneath a very strong high pressure system that brings sinking air, and sinking air does not really lead to cloud cover or showers. So the lack of rain over the weekend, you can thank this high pressure system, and the lack of windy conditions as well, not only today, but into Saturday as well. We're looking at partly sunny to mostly sunny conditions on Saturday, less windy, and again, an isolated shower or two can't be ruled out. Again, we're going to hold on to that chance for maybe a shower into Saturday afternoon as well. As this high pressure system pushes off to the north and east, winds continue to turn out of the south. That means more sunshine and warmer temperatures on Sunday, but it's going to be a little bit more breezy heading into Sunday, and then further into Monday. We're looking at more cloud cover. Again, that chance for showers, and we're still going to remain somewhat on the breezy side as we head into Monday and Tuesday of next week. Our wind gusts getting up into that 20, 25, maybe upwards of 30 miles per hour at times range heading into the start of next week. Also looking at possibly a breezy Halloween, but we're not going to be dealing with any rain, at least for now. Our temperature is a bit of a roller coaster, but staying somewhat seasonal. We're not into those 70s or 80s. We're more or less into the 50s and maybe the 60s Monday and Tuesday, or Sunday and Monday of the upcoming weekend and the start of next week. We're back into the 50s by Thursday, low 50s, Halloween into the start of November, which again is pretty normal for this time of year, give or take maybe a few degrees either way, warmer than or cooler than average. There's a look at the 7 and 10 day forecast. Again, for now, we're not eyeing any rain for Halloween. Always, you can check in on our website for the latest updates, but Tanasia and folks at home, at least for now, it looks like the kids won't have to bundle up with an umbrella or a rain jacket this Halloween.
All right, well, that's good. At least they'll know, like, they'll still look cute in their costumes.
Exactly.
And that's all we want.
Truly,
all right.
yeah.
Blaze, thank you. Up next, we'll see what Howard is working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
If you're tired of the same old boring pork chops, we've got an easy way to dress them up using a surprise ingredient. As I was walking through the supermarket last week, I was a little surprised to see just how big the dried fruit section has become. There used to only be raisins and prunes, or as they're known now, dried plums, and maybe dried apricots. But now there's everything from pineapple and strawberries to tropical fruits like mango and papaya. So I picked up a variety to bring back to the test kitchen so we could play with them. Let me show you one dish that we made that works with any of these. We started by seasoning a few thick, boneless pork chops with a bit of salt and pepper and seared them on both sides. This seals in their juices. To that, we add some thinly sliced onions, a little water, a couple of tablespoons of brown sugar, a touch of apple cider vinegar. That's gonna really help tenderize our pork as it cooks. And about a cup or so of dried fruit. I'm using a combo of dried plums and apricots, but feel free to mix and match. Now we cover it and let everything simmer until the chops are nice and tender. Once they are, make sure you spoon the pan drippings and all that fruit all over them when you dish these up. If you want to try it, go online now and get the recipe for what we call melt-in-your-mouth pork chops. I know you're going to love the combo of these flavors. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where every day we're looking for more flavorful ways for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Howard, thank you. Blaze is giving us our final forecast. You know, it's chilly soup weather right now.
It is, yes, and we're going to stay sunny for the rest of the afternoon in those 50s. Friday night football games looking dry, but you're definitely going to need that jacket. We'll hang out in the upper 30s to low 40s before 50s and 60s this weekend, tracking a chance for an isolated shower on Saturday.
All right, up next is A Bold and Beautiful. Our next forecast is at 4. See you later.